What's going on, everyone? BLN437, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be recapping Game 2 of the National League Championship Series between the Dodgers and the Cubs. But before I get into that, I recapped yesterday's game between the Dodgers and the Cubs. That link for that video will be down in the description below. Same thing with the Yankees versus Astros game. That will also be down in the description below. There will be a link down in the description below. But let's talk about the Cubs pitching first. So Jon Lester went 4 2/3 innings. Once again, I told you guys that the Cubs starters need to go deep into games, but they haven't been able to due to the fact that their pitch count gets so high in the middle innings. And I don't understand why they get into so many, deep counts in the game and they just can't seem to put hitters away. That's not the type of Cubs rotation that they had last year and the year before when they were facing the Mets. I mean, that rotation was going deep into games. They were playing really well. I mean, they did have a better bullpen, and they still kind of have the same bullpen that they had last year, but you don't obviously have a Chapman, you have Davis. But I just look at this and I have to sit here and say, look, Lester went 4 2/3 innings with a run. That's not great, but that's not bad. He walked 5, so he was able to get out of a lot of jams, which is great. Carl Edwards Jr. came in. He had a better performance than he did in the National League Division Series. He came in. He went 1 1/3 inning with 3 strikeouts, so that's not bad. He did his job. Pedro Strop did his job as well. He ended up walking a guy, but still got an out. Brian Dunsing, even though he gets the loss here in this game, did the best that he can. He did get out of a couple of jams in the 8th inning. But, I mean, overall, you got to look at this. Look at the guys that I mentioned that are coming out of the Cubs bullpen. Other than Edwards Jr. and maybe Strop, Dunsing and Lackey are just not elite guys out of the pen. They're not. And I said that the Cubs need to kind of rely more on their rotation, like the Astros, than the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers have some weapons in the pen, but the Cubs don't. I mean, the Cubs have nothing other than pretty much Wade Davis, Carl Edwards Jr., and Strop and Rondon. And even then, you can't really use Rondon much. You can't use Strop much. And then you've already used Davis a lot in the division series between the Nationals. So you kind of have to, pick your poison on what you're going to do here. But let's talk about their offense as well. Their offense just was off. That combination, that 1-2 punch that I talk about with Bryant and Rizzo, went 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts. Can't happen. Can't happen. If they're not going to show up in this series, and this is just Game 2, and I understand that it's Game 2, and listen, let's not put the Cubs away, and let's not put them to sleep yet. The Cubs are a team that's known for, being able to play great baseball when their back is up against the wall as well. They can come back in this series, but it's going to have to start with these two guys if they do want to come back in this series. They need Bryant and they need Rizzo to perform well. Both Bryant and Rizzo did not perform at all in yesterday's game. They didn't perform well again here today. Neither did Baez. Baez was 0 for 2. I mean, this Cubs lineup was literally held to just 1 run, and this is a type of offense that shouldn't be just scoring 1 run off of a pitcher that to me isn't, top of the notch. Rich Hill is a great pitcher. He's a good major league pitcher, but Rich Hill isn't elite of the elite. He ended up getting 8 strikeouts. He gave up 3 hits, and he did give up an earned run as well in this start. But he was better off than Jon Lester was. He at least went 5, able to give his bullpen a chance to win this game for him, and they ended up doing that. I mean, Russell hit the home run in the 5th inning, but he settled down. He was able to get the Dodgers out of the inning without giving up any more damage, and the Dodgers just took advantage of it. They took advantage of it the very next inning. They scored their run against, I believe it was against Edward Jr. Carl Edwards Jr. If not, it was charged on Lackey, but Jr. was the one that gave up the hit, I believe. No, actually, yeah, I'm sorry, it was on Lester. My bad, guys. But I mean, like I said, if Bryant and Rizzo can't do anything and Baez can't do anything, then that's just going to be really, really tough for these guys. But you look at what the Dodgers are able to do. The Dodgers can trust their bullpen more than the Cubs can. I mean, after they took out Hill, they brought in Brandon Morrow, who went 2 innings, got 2 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. He was excellent. He threw 18 pitches out of the pen. You had Josh Fields, who only got 1 out, but he ended up getting that huge out that he needed. Watson got the rest out. And then when it was time to go into the next inning, when it was time to go into that 9th inning, Kenley Jansen got the win for him. Kenley Jansen took care of business, and kudos to Kenley Jansen, man. I'm so sick and tired of people saying you don't bring in your closer in a situation where they don't have the lead and whatever. This man goes in the 8th inning, he goes into the 9th inning. If he doesn't have the lead, he is going to still take the ball and close things out or just shut down the lineup until he is out of the game. That's what separates an elite closer or a good closer to an elite closer. I mean, he is elite. He can go in the game in the 8th inning or ninth inning, and you could not have any runs on the board for him. You know, it could be a tie game, or it could be you're down by 1 or whatever, and you're sitting here and you're telling Jansen keep it at this score, or keep the lead until the end of the game. And Jansen does it, and he does it well in the postseason, and he is an elite closer. He is the best closer in baseball, period. If this doesn't show it to you guys again tonight, I don't know what else to say. It's not Chapman. It's not any of these other guys that you guys see out there, Britton or whoever else you want to throw out there. It's Kenley Jansen. He is elite of the elite. He is the best at what he does. He is pretty much this generation's Mo. I'm not going to sit here and say he's exactly Mo, but he's pretty darn close. And but that's the difference there, you know. And I talk about that, and I also talk about Yasiel Puig. Didn't I not sit here and say yesterday that the offense for the Dodgers will begin and ends with how Yasiel Puig performs? You got to let Yasiel Puig be Yasiel Puig. He was going crazy on the base pass in the 8th inning. I believe he was kind of like, you know, running, you know, well, not actually, it wasn't the 8th. I'm sorry, it was the 9th inning. It was the 9th inning where he was on second base after getting on first base. And he's just kind of like jumping around, you know, the bases a little bit. And yeah, we all know that, Puig does have, you know, some speed. But we also know that Contreras has an arm. And he was willing to test Contreras' arm there. Like kind of messing around in the base pass and kind of seeing out if they were going to test him and try to throw to second base or whatever. You know, he was acting a little crazy. Yeah, he was definitely acting a little crazy out in the base pass. He was doing a lot of running around, kind of just back and forth type of movement around the bases. And it didn't really seem to phase the Cubs. It definitely wasn't phasing Lackey or anybody else on that, that was on the mound. He was just doing his little thing. But we need to start talking about Justin Turner. How many times am I going to sit here and say Justin Turner has been a god, kind of like he's been masterful when it comes to postseason play. A huge 3-run home run to help them win the game after this man already had hit a game-tying base, or got a game-tying base hit to help the Dodgers tie the game. He then freaking hits a 3-run home run, walks off, and the freaking Dodgers win the series. I mean, to win the game. They don't win the series, but they win the game. And man, I'm telling you, if they don't stop Justin Turner's bat at some point in this series with Puig as well, who got 3 walks and a hit, and they don't stop Bellinger, who seems like he's starting to, you know, turn it around a little bit here in Game 2. Goodbye, Cubs. I mean, goodbye, Cubs, because you know Jansen's going to come out in the bullpen in the 8th inning if they need it. You know he's going to come in the 9th if they need it as well. I mean, this man is... literally, Turner... It just seems like when the lights are its brightest, Turner, Puig, and Jansen have all seemed to just been like, let's go, game on. You know, like, we want this more than they want it. And the Cubs aren't facing the Nationals, who don't know how to get over the hump, who don't know how to do, you know... or just don't know how to kind of handle the pressure of postseason baseball, or it just gets too much of them. These guys were beaten by them last year in the National League Championship Series. They want revenge. They're hungry because they knew, listen, man, we almost had the Cubs. You know, the Cubs didn't just sweep us. The Cubs didn't just walk around and just destroy us in that series last year. They won, but they had a fight. So let's bring the fight to them. We know what they're capable of. We know what they can do. And the Dodgers went out there and they executed it. Plain and simple. They went out there and they've been executing their plan to a T. They've been able to get to the bullpen, and at least a good part of their bullpen, quick and often. And on top of that, once again, like I told you, with the Yankees and Astros series, key moments. Key moments are going to be the reason why the Dodgers and the Astros win their series if this continues. Because the Yankees haven't been able to do it, and right now the Cubs haven't. And the hitters for the Cubs that need to step up have not stepped up. Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Schwarber, where are you guys? Where are you? You guys were excellent last year. You guys need to show up again this year, especially in the championship series against a team like the Dodgers, who have at least a good enough starting pitching and a good enough bullpen to beat you guys, especially with Jansen coming in the 8th, maybe even 9th inning if he needs to at times. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to have to do, but they're going to have to figure something out. Like I said, don't rule the Cubs out, though. You know, it's still 2-0. The Cubs win 2 games in Chicago, or 3. I think they're more than confident to go down to LA, you know, down 3-2 or up 3-2 to win the series. And the Dodgers, if they're going to win, they got to keep it up. They got to at least steal 1 game in Chicago. If they can do that, then maybe the series is over. I mean, this team and this series just looks like such a mismatch because the Cubs don't have a pen that they can go to or an arm that they can go to. Yeah, you know, Carl Edwards Jr. was great today, but he wasn't great in the division series, so I don't know how much faith Madden has in him and on a lot of his guys. I don't think he does. I just think that Maddon's lost faith in a lot of his bullpen guys, and he tried to do a little bit of mad experiment, a mad science type of experiment, and just failed on him with Flack. It just showed, it blew up right in front of his face. But I don't know. We're gonna see, man. This is gonna be interesting. We got the Yankees and the Astros tomorrow, Game 3. The Yankees have to win that game. The Yankees can't go down 3-0 and think that the Astros are gonna collapse. And then on Tuesday, we'll have Game 4 along with the Dodgers, who just can't, the Dodgers just can't assume, or the Cubs just can't assume that they can go down 3-0 and come back. It just doesn't work that way a lot of the times in baseball. It just does not. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it here for me. Check out the videos from the past and let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have winning this series? Dodgers, Cubs? You guys think that the Cubs can win even without their big bats showing up in Rizzo and Bryant? Or do you think I'm right that they do need to show up in order for this team to win? Or do you think that the Dodgers are just going to dominate this whole series and we'll be seeing the Dodgers versus whoever, whether it's the Astros or the Yankees, in the World Series? And that's it. So like I said, make sure to leave a like, comment as well, what I just had mentioned before. And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys for Game 3 of the Yankees versus the Astros in New York. It's going to be a fun one. New York is going to be loud. CC will be pitching against, I believe, Morton. And I can't wait to recap that series and recap that game for you guys later on.